Hi young friends, young professionals everywhere. I like making these videos from time to time because you are exactly where I was a couple of years ago. I mean, some weeks ago, a young friend of mine asked me, what is the quickest way to climb the professional ladder? And I didn't think much before I answered that what my thoughts were. The quickest way to get to the top of your professional ladder is simple, is what I call responsibility. Some people will say responsibility essentially the ability to respond. Responsibility is much more than the ability to respond. So the question is, what is responsibility? In my language, I'll say responsibility is understanding first what your role is and understanding what other people's role is and being able to account for the roles of others. I'm a big football fan, and some years ago, Joseph Yobo, I'm sure most of you know him, was a footballer. He used to play for Everton Football Club. His then manager was David Moyes. I know Man U fans will not like to hear this, but I remember this vividly because I read the papers many years ago when I was the captain. Now, David Moyes was asked, why did you make Joseph Yobo the captain of the club? I think as at then, Joseph Yobo was the first African and the first Nigerian to captain an English Premiership club. And David Moyes said many years ago that Joseph Yobo was not just good at his job, which was defending. Joseph Yobo also understood what the team needed to do, which was win. And when Joseph Yobo had done his job so well, he goes ahead to do the job of others. From then I understood that being responsible is not just being responsible for your own actions, but being responsible for the actions of others. The guy or the girl who ascends the professional ladder is the one who understands that his job is not just his job, but the job of the company is his job. A lot of the time, we see different people in different companies who are only concerned about their job. They do their job so well, but at 5 o'clock, they shut down, they head home. They don't care about if the company has achieved its target for that day. They don't worry if the company has met its goal for the month. They really don't bother if the company hits its profit target for the year. Everybody thinks that's the target for the MD or maybe for the board of directors. I'm not a director, I'm just an IT guy, I'm just the digital media guy. I should do my job and head home, right? Now that is cool. But for the guy who wants to head to the top of the ladder, you have to understand that your job is not just your job. There's no company who is in business just to have social media guy. I'm sure we understand. There's no company who is in business just to have a photographer, a graphics guy. A company typically is in business to make profit and grow value for the stakeholders. And so, if you quickly want to ascend the professional ladder, you have to understand that first you have to do your job very well. You have to do your job so well that even in your absence, they crave for your presence. That's the first job. But much more than doing your job very well, you have to understand, what is the business that my company is in? Are we in the business of making photography, for example? Are we in the business of filmmaking? Are we in the business of selling, of commerce? Whatever it is, you have to understand. Much more than your job, you have to understand where the company's desires lie and help the company to achieve those goals. What am I saying? Think about the guy who is your boss, the guy who makes 3 times your income, the guy who drives the biggest car, who spends the most in the company, who gets the biggest cake during his birthday. Pay attention to the fact that not only is he concerned about his job, he's also concerned about your own job. And one of the reasons why he's a boss is, much more than his own job, he's accountable for very many other persons. If you want to be like that guy, then think much more than your job. Think about the job of others. What does the company need to do that it's not doing? Where is the company losing money? How is the company making money? And make that your primary responsibility. Do your job so well that everybody admits that you are valuable to the company, but much more than your job, think about what the company's job is. Look at where the ship is bleeding. Look at where the ship is sailing. Ensure that you put a lot more wind in the sail so that your ship can go faster. Ensure that you block the leaks so that your ship does not sink. That way you rise to the top. Now, I'm not saying this because it's exciting theory. Look at me. I try to feel young. I'm not as young as you are, but I've been able to rise to the top using this theory. It's not just theory for me. It's my lifestyle. It's what I've done. It's what I do. It's what I hope to do every day of my life. If you don't want to ascend organically, let me tell you something about organically. In digital marketing, there are some things we call organic campaigns. When you run a campaign without putting any money, without advertising, those campaigns are good, but they're extremely slow and even more frustrating. But if you want to get to the top of the ladder, what do? We do something that is called promotion. To put some bit of money, some bit of intentionality. That is what you should do for your career. Think about climbing up the ladder faster than your peers. Think about getting double promotion every 6 months instead of waiting for 1 promotion in 3 years. Think about getting your boss's job. Think about becoming the MD. Think about being invited to be a director. Think about somebody selling the company to you. In fact, you should think about the company like your own. If the company was yours, would you close at 5? If the company was yours, would you care less about the company during the weekend? If the company was yours, would you go for vacation for 2 weeks and never looking at your meals? If the company was yours, would you do better? If you ask yourself that and you can answer in the affirmative, then you are right on the path to becoming the boss you desire to be. I hope you continue to win. See you at the top, guys. Cheers.